So this is the December book review. So I have 4 books this month that I'm going to be reviewing, and I'm just going to go through them one by one. Before we get into that, just wanted to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe, and I have lots of other book reviews, so if you want to look at those, there's a playlist and all that stuff. So yeah, let's get into the review. Okay, so the first book is The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is part 1 in the entire Lord of the Rings series. Now, I think most people are familiar with Lord of the Rings, but if you are not familiar with it, briefly, it is the story of Frodo Baggins. He is given the One Ring of Power, and he has to take it from the Shire, where he lives, all the way to Mount Doom in Mordor and destroy it. And this is just the first part of that. This just talks mainly about, his time in the Shire and sort of the history of the ring and up to him leaving it. And most of the book is about just him in the Shire and just leading up to, this journey that he's going to have to take to destroy the ring. If you have seen the movies and you haven't read the book is quite different. There's like extra, there are like characters and events in the book that are not in the movie. I don't think it takes away, like, if you really like the movie, you're not gonna like read the book and like hate the movie or hate the book or anything. They're both very different. They're 2 different mediums, so they tell the story well for their medium. Yeah, I think it's a really good book. I think if you like the movies, if you like the series of, Lord of the Rings, if you like Hobbit, then you definitely will like this one. And it's very long. It actually only has like 22 chapters, but the chapters are very long, and it's very small writing. So yeah, even though it's only 22 chapters, which really is not that long, the chapters themselves are quite long, and in some places there's a lot of dialogue, but I still enjoyed it. I liked it, and there's a lot of like adventure and all that kind of stuff in it as well. So yeah, definitely recommend this book. The second book is Mossflower, and this is the second part in the Redwall series of books. If you're not familiar with the Redwall series, or if you've never heard of it, all of the characters are like woodland characters, so they're all animals. It's kind of like a whimsical style fantasy book, is how it's kind of written, but it's not, I mean, like, a kid could read it, but it's not like too much for kids, or like too childish where like an adult couldn't enjoy it, or anything like that. This one specifically was about Martin the Warrior, which is like a little mouse, and like his discovery of Mossflower Woods, and this is sort of like how he came to build Redwall Abbey and all of that stuff. If you're not familiar with this series, I would definitely recommend. It's a pretty easy read, pretty it can be a pretty quick read actually. And it's just a fun, fantasy book. There's lots of adventures and fighting, and has some really good villains in it as well. And yeah, if you kind of like the more like whimsical style fantasy books, that's how I would describe this anyway. Then you would definitely like this. But even if you didn't, I still think it would be something that you would enjoy, because there is a lot of there's like funny moments, and then there's some kind of more darker moments, and there's adventure and all different types of characters, and like I said, there's good villains in here, good heroes, and some very unique characters, and really it's just a good series, and this was a really fun book to read in the series. But yeah, I would recommend really the whole series, but you could start with this one, although I think reading Redwall, the first book, would be better, but you could start with this book. This book you wouldn't be confused, because this is like the history of Redwall, So it's kind of like a prequel to the first one in a way. So even if you didn't read Redwall, you could read this one, and you wouldn't be like lost in the story. They kind of all are like that. They're all like connected to like the bigger story, but then at the same time each book is like its own individual story, so you can kind of read any book by itself. At least that's what I've found with them. But yeah, definitely recommend this book. The next book is very different from the other two. It is a Christian book. It is by Charles Stanley. It is The Spirit-Filled Life. This book is about the Holy Spirit. This book talks about, what it means to live, by and with the Holy Spirit and how to do so. Like it says here, discover the joy of surrendering to the Holy Spirit. So this is a Christian book, and this was actually a really good book because he gave, I like a lot of these books because people tell like their own story. They kind of share struggles or things in their own life that they've been through. So it's not like you're just reading a book that's like, oh hey, do this. It's actually somebody saying from their own experience, and I really, really like that. He does have questions at the end of each chapter. I'll try to find, like here he has like areas to get you to think more about what you read and some questions to kind of go deeper. So it's kind of like, it's like a book. Like I said, you're kind of, you're sharing about his own life and how he learned to live by the Holy Spirit and what God showed him in that whole process. And then he talks about, what the Bible teaches. But at the same time, it's also kind of like a study because he does have those prompts at the end of each chapter for you to go deeper and to really think about what you read. So I really, 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 really like this book a lot. In fact, I think it'd be a book that I would read again because there's a lot in it. But yeah, if you're interested at all in learning more about the Holy Spirit and how to, surrender to Him and live life, with Him and how to do all that, then I would definitely recommend this book. And if you're not a Christian, who knows? It's kind of very, very Christian specific. But yeah, it's a good book, and I would definitely recommend it. And then the fourth book is another book by Charles Stanley, and it is Stuck in Reverse. I actually got this book a while ago, and I had started reading it, and then I never finished reading it, so then I decided to just go through it. It's a pretty small book. This book is basically about, like, if you're kind of in a rut, if your life feels like it's stopped, or you're actually, going in reverse. This is really about, how to get out of that place and to move forward with God. And like it says here, break free from fear and disbelief and enjoy the good things God has for you. So again, it's another Christian book. This book was a fairly quick read. Again, he shares a lot of his own story and experiences in his own life, which is something that I really like, especially when you're reading books like this. And it was just a good, encouraging book, just for, like I said, like if you're just in that, if you're in a place, if you're in a rut, if you're just stuck, it's just good encouragement to just get out and start moving forward. And yeah, I would recommend it, and I would recommend all these books. Yeah. But it's not super long. It's only like 9 chapters, but they're kind of long chapters. This is a book again that I would probably I could read again. You could definitely read this more than once. But yeah, it's a good little book, and it's encouraging, and I would recommend it, obviously. So guys, that was the review of all of these books. I would recommend all of these books, obviously. I don't know why I kept saying at the end of each review that I would recommend the book, because if I'm doing a review of the books, then obviously I would recommend it most likely. So these are all the books in this review, and I will be leaving links below to, probably not exactly these types, because some of these came in sets, but at least some Amazon links if you guys want to check them out. You don't have to use those links, I just provide them in case you want to get the book or look into it. So those links will be down in the description. And yeah, definitely recommend all of these. And I have actually read 15 books this year, not including the 2 that I'm currently reading, so 17 if you include those 2. But that's 15 books, and considering how for a while I was reading no books a year, 0 books a year, to go from 0 to 15 is really good. So yeah, I've read a lot of good books, and I would recommend them all. And like I said, there's a playlist with that's called book reviews. So if you want to look at any of those books, you can just check out that playlist, and I'll link that below. And yeah, they're all really good. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you're all having a great day. Go out, read, and have some fun. And yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!